Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're taking a look at a buffed Pokemon in the Master League that is difficult to obtain, but if you have the XLs for it, is very, very powerful. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Cheesy OG, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now the Pokemon in question is Keldeo. Keldeo has long had a good fast move and one charge move. Poison Jab and Sacred Sword is a great combination, but now with the massive rework to Aqua Jet, Keldeo now has a fully complete moveset and proves to be a very strong core breaker in this meta. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and there's a dominant lead in the first match, leading Keldeo into Rhyperior. Keldeo able to outpace, making it to the Aqua Jet. This is double super effective damage, which means Rhyperior will be forced to commit the shield. Rhyperior actually undertaps here, throwing on alignment. Rhyperior going for a breaking swipe, and that's not really a problem for Keldeo. Keldeo absorbing this damage very comfortably, making it to a second Aqua Jet. Rhyperior tries to let it go. They get KO'd. In comes a Dialga, but Keldeo is not done. Keldeo makes the Sacred Sword. Just like that, one shield is gone, an entire Rhyperior is gone, and half a Dialga is gone as well. Opponent is going to go for the Roar of Time onto the Duskmane. Duskmane farming up and looking to pick up a knockout with the Dark Pulse, while still exiting with quite a lot of residual energy. Dark Pulse picks up the KO in the back. It's Kyurem White. We're going to have the battle of Kyurem Whites in the endgame, and down 2 shields, there's just no hope for the opponent, so they will concede the match. We move to the next match, leading Keldeo into Landorus. Poison Jab, of course, going to be very heavily resisted, but Keldeo will be able to spam out super effective Aqua Jets. Keldeo with the no shield as Landorus is going to fire off the Sandsear Storm. Sandsear does do a solid amount of damage. Keldeo returning fire with the Aqua Jet. Opponent does actually decide to commit the shield. Keldeo farming up. Opponent does actually go for a catch onto Dialga. Dialga absorbing that Aqua Jet just fine. Keldeo, can it hang on here? Yes, it can. Keldeo getting to a -1 Sacred Sword. This will still inflict some very nice damage. And Keldeo, again, just getting a lot of value in this game. I really like the decision to actually not switch lock the Duskmane and instead just let the Keldeo go. Because now, when the opponent eventually decides to bring in the Landorus, Landorus can just get absolutely shredded by Ice Fang. Here, unfortunately, tried to double up, but the Dialga making a last-second charge attack. Leaving with 2 charge attacks loaded is the Duskmane. And the opponent, unfortunately, does have a move loaded on the Landorus, and Landorus is going to win that CMP tie. Just going to let that energy go. In comes the Kyurem in the back. We have the battle of White Kyurem, but being down energy is going to be the kiss of death for this opponent. Fusion Flare is going to be shielded up by the opponent, but they have no way of catching back up. Their only hope in this game is that Landorus can survive double super effective Ice Fangs to make it to a move. Fusion Flare number 2 is reached, and this is neutral damage, but it's going to pick up the knockout. All that's left is the Landorus. They get absolutely deleted, and this game will end in a win. We move to the next match, Keldeo against Xerneas, and this is where Poison Jab is quite nice. Obviously, if Keldeo doesn't have shields, this is not going to be a good matchup, but with shields up, the Poison Jab Aqua Jet combination really adds up. The opponent farms up to the double close combat. Obviously, Moonblast will be super effective. They bait with a close combat. They're going to safe switch into Palkia. Palkia immediately chipped with a Sacred Sword from the Keldeo. This is going to very comfortably put it into a range where Dark Pulse plus Shadow Claws can knock out. So Duskmane is going to hit the field. Opponent massively overfarming with the Palkia. Duskmane firing off the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is going to be shielded as the opponent. They have so much energy, so they may as well put it to good use. Duskmane very comfortable letting this go. It's a Fire Blast. Honestly, even so, that's not the worst thing in the world. They had to use a ton of energy, and now you know they don't have Spatial Rend. So, Kyurem gets a very comfortable farm down. It's going to be a Kyurem Black in the back, and Kyurem White up this much energy. The opponent should have pivoted instantly. Now they're in trouble. There's the switch to Keldeo. Keldeo gets super effective damage with this Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword connects, and Kyurem is just already much too low. Keldeo, it's done its job. It can no-shield the Fusion Bolt and get KO'd. Back in comes Kyurem White. Kyurem White, no shielding as well, as the opponent did not have enough energy to make it to the free shock there. They're getting farmed down, and they're going to resign the match. Moving into the next game, Keldeo into Duskmane. This is an uncomfortable lead. The opponent actually pivots out. I don't know why the opponent pivoted out there. They're actually on Dragontail Kyurem Black. Dragontail Kyurem Black, an interesting choice. I guess they saw Fighter and wanted to switch out, but Keldeo's a Poison Jab user, so that's genuinely not a bad matchup. Kyurem is going to go for the Fusion Bolt. Keldeo going to fire off the Sacred Sword, and honestly, if you can either get both shields down or get switch, either is pretty okay. In comes the Duskmane. Duskmane can survive any one move here. Fusion Bolt is going to do about 45%. Opponent goes for a Free Shock, and now they're going to pivot back into their own Necrozma. Free Shock did do more damage there, even though it is resisted. Dark Pulse connects. The opponent is going to get a full farm down. That farm down is unfortunate, but you can just bring in the Keldeo, just sacrifice it, and then take Kyurem White in the 1-0 shield. Kyurem White is going to have to deal with that Dragontail Kyurem Black, which is going to be uncomfortable, as of course Dragontails will add up. That's super effective damage. In the back is Palkia, and this is going to be tough. I mean, the Iceburn will be reached. You can knock out the Palkia, but I think the issue that's going to occur here is just the fact that the Kyurem's going to run out of HP. Kyurem will get to pick up the knockout here with the Iceburn, but now in comes Kyurem Black and Fusion Flare. It's just too far away, so that game will end in a loss. Picking up a pretty solid lead, Keldeo into Primarina. They're actually on Waterfall. Waterfall Primarina, I really don't see a purpose for this particular season. Even if it's Charm, Keldeo still does pretty fine here, because Keldeo, of course, Poison Jab will hit for super effective damage. So even in that situation, it's still not the worst matchup to be in. Keldeo is going to commit the shield as Necrozma Duskmane full sends the Outrage. Keldeo now just looking to spam out these Sacred Swords. Sacred Sword after Sacred Sword after Sacred Sword, continually putting the pressure on the opponent. Keldeo, unfortunately, playing to a CMP tie that it does not win. That's going to force the final shield, so all shields down now for Keldeo. Keldeo, Sacred Sword is going to land. Opponent is going to pivot into the Primarina. There's going to be a switch into Duskmane. Duskmane very comfortable surviving a Hydro Cannon here. Opponent, Hydro Cannon is going to land. Duskmane farming up, getting closer and closer to the move. Opponent is going to make the Hydro Cannon. This will be close. Duskmane is not going to hang on. Duskmane actually gets KO'd. In comes Keldeo. Keldeo is going to get a nice farm down, however, exiting with a ton of energy. And you really have to hope this energy will go far against whatever they have in the back. Keldeo now going to be met with, was that a Metagross? Oh my goodness. It is a it's a Shadow Metagross. Oh my goodness. Metagross, definitely a Pokemon that has really felt the effects of power creep, because the fact that Metagross has to throw here and can't farm down is so painful. Shadow Meteor Mash picks up the KO, but Keldeo has all the energy it could ever ask for. Metagross is just slow. It would love a better secondary move. Like if Mash was its nuke move and then it had a cheaper bait move, that'd be kind of nice. But in the interim, it just feels really, really unfortunate to use. Keldeo against Kyurem Black. Okay, let's see this matchup play out. Kyurem Black obviously not going to have a lot of fast move pressure, but it will be able to spam out Fusion Bolts. And this is super effective damage from a Pokemon with an incredibly high attack stat. Keldeo farming up to the back-to-back Sacred Swords, looking to put that pressure right back onto the Kyurem. Sacred Sword number 1 is going to be shielded. Keldeo over farming here and going for a double shield. Keldeo is able to outpace in this matchup. Gonna farm past double Sacred Sword, and now looking to unleash some damage. Sacred Sword into the Kyurem is shielded, but another one is reached. Can the opponent hang on here? Kyurem Black is getting, no, they're not getting KO'd. They survive on 1 HP. Oh my goodness, Keldeo, unfortunately losing the 2s there barely. The 1 HP survive from the opponent, and it's gonna be Zygarde in the back. Zygarde going for a Crunch or a Bulldoze here. Either one, not gonna do a lot of damage. It's Bulldoze. In comes Kyurem. Opponent now gonna send out Xerneas. Xerneas, that's a close combat. That's not going to KO. They got worried. I believe they could have outpaced here. They go for the close combat, but this will not be enough damage. And now Kyurem Fusion Flare will pick up the KO, and they're going to have to take double super effective damage. This Zygarde now getting dangerously close to a range where Sunsteel, honestly, and fast moves can probably take this game. Sunsteel rocks the Zygarde. Bulldoze or Outrage, it's not going to matter. Zygarde just does not have the damage needed, and they're going to resign the match. Leading into a Landorus once again is going to be Keldeo. Keldeo firing off the Aqua Jet, and again, losing the CMP tie, very comfortable to tank the first move. The opponent will be able to survive an Aqua Jet here. It's not going to be enough to knock out, but it will inflict some solid super effective damage. There is the Aqua Jet landing. Keldeo now gets to go for the Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword will actually outpace. Now this is going to be resisted, but it grabs the shield from the opponent. The opponent is massively over farming. Honestly, could just let it go and then just go for the Ice Fang head start on the Kyurem, and that's exactly what Cheese is going to do. Up one Ice Fang, in comes Palkia. There's a switch to Duskmane. Opponent has their own Duskmane in the back, and the opponent's going to be in for a very long day here. Being down a shield and down energy feels so terrible in this matchup. Duskmane preserving HP, knowing that it's going to be difficult for Palkia to get through the remainder of this health because this is not Aqua Tail range. And now no baits, going straight for the Sunsteel, looking to apply some serious damage to the opponent. Sunsteel Strike is going to connect, and that's instantly game winning. Because now the opponent, the moment they throw, you can just let the Duskmane go. Cheesy perfectly understanding the win con. The win con is going to be Kyurem with a shield. Kyurem is going to get the full farm down of this Palkia. Palkia, one final charge attack, hoping for the no shield, but the Spatial Rend is shielded, and that's game over. Moving to the next match, Keldeo against Florges. Super effective damage on the fast moves will be flying in both directions. The opponent is going to go straight for a Trailblaze or a Disarming Voice. Keldeo with an O-Shield, Trailblaze, super effective damage. These poison jabs are adding up quite a bit as well. Keldeo now going to hit for some neutral damage with the Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is going to land. There's a catch onto Duskmane Necrozma. But with a Florges lead, there's going to be good counters to Duskmane in the back, and there it is. Shadow Rhyperior hits the field. Shadow Rhyperior farm it up, and it looks like Shadow Rhyperior is going to go for the one shield farm down. It would have been so much better for Cheesy had they thrown their energy, but they're doing no such thing. Instead, they exit with so much loaded energy. This is going to be tough. Keldeo going for a Sacred Sword. Looks like did get one turn bring in there, unfortunately. That's going to be shielded. And now the opponent, it's highly likely the first move they're throwing is going to be a Breaking Swipe, and it is. And now this Rhyperior just gets to put all of this energy to good use. Kyurem desperately trying to farm down. Second Breaking Swipe does actually get an attack drop. In comes Palkia, and with the attack drop, I don't think Ice Burn's going to be enough to knock out here. Ice Burn, big damage, but Palkia survives. Palkia, this is only an Aqua Tail, but it's still going to do too much damage. In comes the Keldeo just to reset the debuff. Kyurem gets the farm down. Kyurem met with the Florges, but unfortunately, just not enough HP left, and that game will end in a loss. We have Zamazenta versus Keldeo in the next match, and Keldeo definitely really liking the fact that Zamazenta is on Ice Fang. Ice Fang is resisted, not doing a whole lot of damage. Zamazenta gonna bait with a crunch. Keldeo farming up a ton of energy, and now, as always, it's Sacred Sword time. Sacred Sword number one is gonna connect. Keldeo farming up, trying to put this Pokemon in a range where Sacred Sword could actually knock out. Sacred Sword does KO, and Keldeo wins the lead with a lot of HP remaining. Opponent sends in a Kyurem, and oh my goodness, their Kyurem is not gonna have a great day. They're forced to commit the shield. There's a pivot out into the Duskmane. Duskmane can tank this Fusion Bolt and look to win the Zero Shield. Oh, the opponent actually goes for the harder hitting Freeze Shock. I think they actually make a catch here, catching the Sunsteel Strike onto Dialga. So an interesting play pattern here from the opponent. They could have thrown a Fusion Bolt and then gotten more energy, but I guess they go Freeze Shock and then a catch onto the Dialga. Dialga now met with Keldeo. I think as Keldeo, you're pretty happy they're throwing energy here, so you can just let this go. It's the Iron Head, it doesn't knock out, and in comes Kyurem. Kyurem looking for the farm down, getting the farm down as well. The opponent brings back in Kyurem Black, and in the battle between Kyurem Black and Kyurem White, this is going to be a race to the finish. Keldeo as well should be very close to a charge move if they don't already have it. And it seems, by the way Cheese is playing, that he knows he has the move banked, so he lets it go. In comes Keldeo, Sacred Sword, plus a Poison Jab KO, and that's a win. Hopping into the final match, leading Keldeo into Ho-Oh. This is a matchup that before Aqua Jet, Keldeo actually struggled in because Hydro Pump was just way too expensive. Hydro Pump is just not a usable move with its incredibly expensive cost. But now that Aqua Jet's here and Aqua Jet allows you to get to water damage pretty quickly, honestly, Keldeo is just so much more viable, especially in a meta that's so weak to fighting. Keldeo shields up the Brave Bird. There's the switch out for the opponent into Zacian, banking the Sacred Sword, and now in comes Duskmane. Zacian has farmed up a ton of energy. Duskmane very comfortable with an O-Shield here on the first. Duskmane going for the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse does not KO a -2 Zacian, but it will potentially set up farm for one of the other Pokemon. It looks like that's exactly what Cheesy is aiming for, just looking to set up farm, because whether you take the Ice Fang farm or Keldeo farm, either way you should be in a pretty decent position. Gotta take the Ice Fang farm. The opponent should be one Incinerate off of a Sacred Fire, and Ho-Oh does have enough HP to withstand the Ice Fangs. Sacred Fire no shielded. That's gonna hit for massive neutral damage. In the back is Rhyperior, and this game is over. They have to choose Ice Burn or Aqua Jet. They shield up the Ice Burn, and now it's Aqua Jet time. Double super effective damage onto Rhyperior. In comes Ho-Oh, and that is a good game. All in all, Keldeo looks to be a ton of fun. This is a rare mythical that my IVs are actually not terrible on personally. I think I have a 15, 11, 14, but I don't quite have the rare excels to max my own. But I do think that Keldeo, if you do have it built, it's a very playable mon right now. There's so many teams in this rotation of the Master League that are so incredibly weak to fighting. Keldeo not only offers that fighting coverage, but with Poison Jab, it has pretty okay play into the fairies as long as shields are up. And with Aqua Jet as well, it actually gives it really nice play into Pokemon like Ho-Oh that a lot of the fighters really can't deal with as well. So I do think Keldeo is extremely underrated. Day one of the Master League, I think I queued into 3 of them, and I was just running triple E Keldeo. I was like Rhyperior, Fairy, plus Akiram, and I had a really terrible time. I went 0-3 against it because this thing is just really, really good. It reminds me a little bit of what Enamorus was in a previous meta, where it's just a Pokemon. It's a bit tougher to get, but it just has incredible play across the board into so many different Pokemon. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.